Hold on. Recording now. Welcome everybody to the Annie parent meeting. We tape these things, so if you say, you never told us, I did. You just didn't show up to the parent meeting. And we ask that you, if you missed this meeting, to watch it on our YouTube channel. I want to introduce my right hand, Miss Brenda here, who is our choreographer. And seriously, the woman who I could not do all this without. So I want to introduce you all to our choreographer, Miss Brenda, who is a volunteer. Hi, Miss Brenda.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited. Annie is one of our favorite shows. It's in our heart. We love it so much. My name is Brenda. I'm one of the choreographers. All the kids call me Miss Brenda. I do the choreography with my son, Carlos. If you haven't met him, you will meet him. He is currently at the Orange County School of the Arts. He's a senior. He's been with Jojo since right before he turned 10 years old. So he's still 9 years old. And so we've been on this journey with her and building this wonderful opportunity in theater. And as a choreographer, my background, I've been doing choreography for about 25 years, a lot of wedding choreography, a lot of quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs, all kinds of special event type of choreography. My background is in ballroom dance, especially Latin ballroom, which I competed in for many years and taught for many years. So I'm so excited. I love musical theater, mostly because of just my background and just being with Carlos as his mom and kind of momager for these years. But we have the great pleasure of being the choreographers for your show. We've done Annie before, so we're super excited about it. I did want to just share with you just a few very important things, and I'm just going to be really, really brief. I'm so excited to get to know each one of your kids and to help them have a love for dance and a love for the show and just singing and dancing. So just a couple of things. You're going to be getting a schedule of the choreography dates. Please let us know if there are any challenges with those dates, because we really, we have very little time in teaching the kids the numbers and all of you that are also in the community cast. So it's really, really important to make sure that they make it to all of their choreography dates, because even though we videotape and they can learn it on their own, it's never really quite the same. So we're really hoping that everybody can meet it. There are some Saturdays, a couple of 3 Saturdays and 3 Sundays that you'll get the dates for very soon. So please try to do your best to get them to all of their choreography dates. The second thing that I want, so the first thing is to get them to their choreography dates so that they learn it, they feel confident, they feel excited, and then they can look at the video and go back and practice and review. The second thing I want to point out to all the parents is that please send your kids in closed-toed shoes. So
you know, a lot of the kids asked me tonight, Brenda, and I'm glad you brought it up. They said, Jojo, what kind of shoes? Are these okay? And they had tennis shoes on. I said, they didn't have tennis shoes in 1933. We really want you to invest in a pair of dance shoes. I do recycle dance shoes, so I have quite a few pieces of dance shoes. But they're really $14.99 on Amazon. They're not expensive. We know they're going to grow out of them, and know you can donate them back to us and we'll give them to the next kids. I don't care if they have holes in the toes, because I know your kids are growing fast, but they're not an expensive pair of shoe.
Right. So a pair of jazz shoes, and people ask me all the time, just get a pair of black jazz shoes. It can be anyone. It could be the cheapest ones, and they'll just feel and work really better in those. If you get some that are tan or nude, that's fine too. But you can get a jazz shoe or a dance sneaker, or even, again, if you don't want to get that, which is okay, we would love that, because then they would have them for the show. But if for some reason you can't, just make sure that they're not in flip-flops. Whenever I see kids come in flip-flops, I feel really badly, because they have a hard time dancing. And it's also a threat to their feet. We don't want them to get injured. We don't want them to stub their toes. We don't want anybody to step on them, and they don't dance freely. So please, if they can have a jazz shoe or dance sneaker or a dance boot, or just sneakers, just please, no flip-flops, no Crocs, nothing where because they feel uncomfortable, and then it doesn't help the situation. So that's the second thing. So the first thing is make it to the choreography dates. The second is wear closed-toed shoes. And the last thing that I want everybody to do is make sure that they're rested and fed. I don't know how many times that I've had choreography rehearsals where the kids are so sleepy because let's say it's a Saturday morning choreography rehearsal, or it's a Sunday morning choreography rehearsal, and they're so tired because they stayed up all night the night before, or they come and they didn't eat breakfast and they're starving. And so all they can think about is the fact that they're starving and they're tired. And we only have an hour and a half to 2 hours to teach them a full number. So please, please, please make sure that they're well rested, that they're fed, and that they come hydrated. Those are the things that we really want, because trust me, we have to cram a lot of information and a lot of content into that short period of time. But we want them to look amazing. We want them to have fun. We want them to feel, what's exciting is when they learn the number, they feel good about it, and then we record it, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I did such a great job. And we're so proud of them for doing so much in such a little period of time that you can see it later on stage. So when the kids miss, or they are uncomfortable, or they didn't really take it in, it shows later on in their performances. And so we want to equip them in the best way possible to feel confident. And we put them through a lot on those days. So just so you know, I used to be, they used to say, Miss Brenda, she's so strict. Well, one of the reasons why I'm so strict is because I need to give them so much content within a short period of time. So I want to make sure that they're doing really, really well, and that they not only do well, but they feel great about what they're doing, and that they shine on stage. That is our number one goal. So when Carlos and I get to see them perform, we are so excited when we see them. We're like, oh my gosh, that's almost exactly the way we taught them. And it's so exciting, and they feel so good about themselves, and they just shine up there. So that's our goal every single time.
Great.
If anybody has any questions for me,
specifically towards choreography, I will let you know, I sent out the choreography schedule for Sunday. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to go 11 to 1, but we have 3 casts coming to 1 rehearsal. A lot of kids, but it's because most of the kids in the Wednesday cast are also doubling into the Sunday morning cast. So I thought, let's just stick them all in this one good group. And we're going to teach it. And when I break out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll work on stuff. Just get the dance number down. I believe it's Monday's cast, and the regular NYC cast is from 1 to 2:30. And then it's just the community cast, because it's so large, from 2:30 to 4. Adults in the community cast, you do not need to come because you're not an orphan. We're just doing Hard Knock Life this week, okay? It is all about the Hard Knock Life. Now, if you missed, or your kid didn't get a script or something of this nature, I will be there the entire time. I'm probably going to do some crafting and make some bloomers while Carlos is teaching choreography. They can watch, they can learn. But if your kid is not an orphan in any sort of form, they do not need to come this weekend. Got it? Okay.
And probably my last little note is, please encourage your kids to practice. That's one of the things that they'll learn the number. And if they don't practice right away, they'll forget so much of it. So please, we post the videos right after, and we want them to practice as much as possible, so that, again, not only do they feel confident, they look confident, they're smiling up on stage, they give great energy, and they look amazing. So we want to give them the best chance possible to have an amazing performance.
Awesome. Okay. If you have questions for Brenda, she will not be there on Sunday. Her son, Carlos, will be there, but you can post them to me, and then I can ask Brenda, and I can get back to you via email. Feel free to put everything in chat. Anyway, Ms. Brenda, thank you for coming. I'm going to go into my spiel now, and we'll see you at the next choreography. She's also directing our cast of Our Town. If your kids want to be in the straight play Our Town, Ms.
Yes,
Brenda is directing
I'm so excited It's an amazing American classic play, Our Town by Thornton Wilder. So if you have your kids that are available on Thursday night, I would love to be their
Or
director,
Sundays.
or Mondays.
Or
But my
Mondays.
Thursday, so I'm like, come to mine. Okay,
Right,
bye.
right. Okay, bye, Brenda. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, Brenda, top of the show. I told her, I'm like, you got your 10 minutes. Okay. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jojo. I met most of your kids at auditions. I didn't meet most of my parents because you guys were out filling out paperwork and meeting my young staff of volunteers. So please note that my staff, I don't pay them. They volunteer for me. And so if you're like, wow, this is unprofessional, that's why they're learning. They're learning how to take money, and they're learning to be honest and trustworthy and all that good stuff. But they are good kids. I have vetted them and I've known them for years. My biggest thing I usually tell people when we first start out, and they all are shocked at this, is that I am a volunteer. I do not get paid for this job. I love directing your children. I grew up wanting to be an actress when I was a kid, and my mom put me in a couple of plays. I didn't find CYT kind of formed when I was in high school, and I did the show Cinderella for CYT. And my high school didn't really have a stage, so I never really did like high school shows and stuff like that. I really wanted to. I also did North Coast Rep, and my mom is on their board actually to this day. But a lot of theaters have their favorites, and I decided I don't want to have favorites. I want everybody to have fun. My story began 10 years ago when excuse my voice is bad. When I volunteered for my daughter, she was actually cast in Annie as Miss Hannigan, and her director had passed away. He had a heart attack. And I was stage managing and helping out this guy they asked to fill in, who's one of our vocal coaches. His name is Paul. And Paul said, oh, please help me. Please help me. I have so many kids. Had 120 kids. We had 6 casts. And I said, sure, I'll help you. It was the most fun I have ever had in my professional and unprofessional career. And I didn't get paid for it, but it allowed me to bond with my daughter. And I thought, if this is something she loves, this is something we can do together. So it was a really good bonding time. So I say this to you parents, because if you are struggling to get to know your kid and you can't, just chopping up oranges for soccer practice and stuff, if you want to volunteer and get more involved and direct a cast and do something with your kid, please join us. It's fun. It's actually really fun. And that's how I started. I was a 25-year vet in film and television. I have a wide variety of credits. Most of my stuff is in kind of like Home and Garden and Food Network. And for 10 years, I was a personal assistant to a major movie star, an A-lister. I traveled the world with him, and I was very, very busy and very, I had a very illustrious career. But I wasn't fulfilled. I kind of forgot to get married. I woke up at 41 and said, this is for the birds. So I decided to quit my job, met my husband, met my stepdaughter, and I literally was living in Huntington Beach, and I was commuting back and forth to Los Angeles for a TV show. And I was volunteering for my daughter on like Tuesday nights, and I gave it all up. I said, that's it. I'm done. I would rather volunteer for my daughter than do all that. People go, okay, well then how do you make a living? Hey, look, I made a lot of money when I was working my 25 years in Hollywood. I got some investment properties. It's none of your business, but I got enough money and I'm fine. I'm never going to take a thin dime out of the Hey Jojo Solana Beach Community Fund for my personal use. It all goes back into our shows. So I want you to hear that from me of what's the difference between Hey Jojo Productions and Solana Beach Community Theater. There truly is no difference other than the fact when I was filing, I couldn't do it as Hey Jojo Productions because I had some taxes I would have to pay. And I just said, you know what? Let's just start I had been denied 3 times. So I decided to start a new nonprofit as a Solana Beach Community Theater to have fresh books that they didn't have to go back to my work from 25 years ago when I was Hey Jojo Productions as a freelancer, not a children's theater. So that's what I did. And I formed this new company so I could really raise money. So I don't have to keep begging to the parents every single time. Trust me, I know I sound like a broken record. So I'm not here to just beg for money all the time. I truly do put every dollar into our shows. And you can also tell me where to buy for our shows. You could say, hey, Jojo, the lighting really sucked. I'd like to put some money towards lighting. Or I would like some more kids to have the opportunity and put it into scholarship funds. That is everything you can tell me how to direct money to. You paid your fees just now for Annie to Hey Jojo, because I'm trying to outline a budget and for the community theater to run under that will be certified by my board. And so it's a little bit of this gray area. So everyone's like, who do I pay to? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I can figure, I just need to set a budget. It all goes through the same kitty to a certain degree. But also note, other people can, if you are an artist, you can actually apply to the Solana Beach Community Theater for theater projects that might need funding. So school projects, drama clubs, things of that nature, other scholarships to other drama schools that can all come out of the Solana Beach Community Theater. My staff are mostly volunteers like Miss Brenda. I don't pay Miss Brenda. Sometimes I fill up her tank with gas. Her son Carlos gets a small stipend that is not a livable wage. But then again, he's only a high school student. Carlos is graduating this year and going to go off to college in New York City next year. So we are raising money for his scholarship fund, just FYI. Our customer, Jared, gets paid peanuts. I did a big beg during Cinderella. I said, my goal is to someday provide living wages for these people who have donated their time to work in the arts for me. And Jared is one of those people, and my board just approved to double his salary based on the monies I raised during Cinderella. So that was huge. And he was touched. He was like, dude, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, please don't leave us. And he's not. He's a great kid. He's like 23 and he's so fun. So those, and then my other volunteer is a woman named Jamie Holder, who is our hairdresser, who literally puts her life on hold at her salon to kind of donate her time to work and do kids' hair and makeup during our shows. And it's great. All of my staff backstage, my stage managers and stuff, are volunteers. I do pay my staff of professional technicians, and it comes out of our budget fees, which I'll get to a little bit more when I discuss budget. Vaccinations and COVID and all that fun stuff. Oh, yay. It's been a challenge for the last 2 years. I'm not going to lie. I have an article I wrote for the San Diego Union, which is framed in my hallway, which I'm very proud of, that says, I will never give up on your kids. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. I'm trying to drink some tea. I'm very proud of that article because it's truth. Through the entire pandemic, I did switch to online, but I never just did shows online. I did them in parking lots. I did a drive-in theater. I built a stage on my mom's tennis court and did outdoor shows in the rain. We rehearsed outside all the time and froze our buns off. I still to this day rehearse in my parking lot because it's best to have kids play outside in some fresh air. So when you see us in the parking lot, it's not because I'm rinky dink, it's really because of the safety of your children. I will wear a mask sometimes. Sometimes they can't hear me. I do have disposable masks. Sometimes I can't hear your kids when they're wearing cloth masks. It does sound really muffled. So I kind of prefer them to have a disposable mask. I got tons of masks at the studio. No problem bringing it to them. I do ask everybody to get vaccinated. My entire staff is all vaccinated. Went through that. We're all boosted. We're all good. However, I'm not the mask police. So if a kid doesn't put their mask up, I kind of get it, especially when they're singing and dancing and doing choreography. It is a family's choice. And during Cinderella, I made it a family's choice whether or not you wanted to have your kids wear a mask. I would say about 98% of the 95% of the kids did not wear masks. And we only had one case of COVID that came down that I know of. And it was really because I kind of hit it home. We Purelled in between each kid, my staff all masked, and we tried to keep as healthy as we possibly could. We are lucky we are renting right now, not from a city or a school, because that is why I've been doing my shows at this place called the Ritz. It's a church. So they kind of can have this kind of freedom mask policy, which is nice. But if you are concerned about that, mask up. I'm not here to like tell you what to do with your family. Also, this show has wigs in it and hats. Just remind your kids, if you're wearing a wig or you're wearing a hat, it can be lice season during the hot months. And so we just tell kids, don't share stuff. And we do spray and kind of cleanse and try and keep as clean as we possibly can. Also, I bring it up not because I need to discuss it, but it is very important. Sexual harassment. There was a theater company that went down for sexual harassment a couple years ago. And so we never have an actor kind of change without in front of a guy or a girl, unless they're like girls with girls, boys with boys. And so my staff has been trained not to put a microphone, like clip it on a girl's bra or any of that. We don't want any kind of interaction. So that's why I kind of need a lot of girl volunteers to kind of help put microphones on girls. Because my guys, I just don't have, I have 2 guys that work with me up at this tech booth, and we always need girl volunteers. So I just bring that up because we're on it and we're very safe, and I vet my staff. We have to take training, CPR training and sexual harassment training every 2 years. Snacks, your kids all come for snacks. I'm telling you right now, it is a big thing. We will ask every parent to bring at least 24 snacks at least once during your time of rehearsal. You can bring it next week. If I get a gluttony of snacks, I kind of hide them in the back seat of my car and I bring them out as needed. Your kids are allowed 1 snack per rehearsal. Sometimes they're like taking like 2 or 3, or not want to give one to brother who's in the car. And I'm like, no. Tonight we had a lovely gal named Alexa who brought some delicious snacks, and those went like hotcakes. So thank you, Alexa's mom, for bringing them. But please, families, your kids are coming usually right after school, or like Brenda said, those long Sundays where they're like tired and didn't eat breakfast. We like to give them a snack and a break. And I have a bunch of leftover fruit from Cinderella that they've been eating all week, because I'm like, all I have is granola bars and apples right now. Volunteering. So I'm a volunteer, Brenda's a volunteer. If you want to get involved, great. If you know how to write grants, let me know. I would love some grant writers to kind of help us go after some of these things. If you have a desire to be a director someday and want to take on a cast with your kid, bring it on. I have one mom who is a volunteer director for our town. Her name's Brianna, and she doesn't want to direct her kid. She wants to direct another cast. I get that too. But we need things. We'd love parent leads to kind of lead each cast, and kind of can tell me when kids have birthdays and things like that. Helping with bios, like their biographies and stuff like that. Is Alexa's mom on here? I think I saw her. She is putting together our program. Where are you, Natalie? She might not be on. Okay. So we have a volunteer who puts our programs together, but in the programs, to offset the cost of the programs, we sell shout out ads or ads to your businesses. And so they run from $25 to like $50 to a back page ad of $100. And our programs cost roughly $750, but it's cute. And we sell these little ads, and they're like, we're so proud of you, and love mom and dad. And you can put pictures of your kid and stuff like that. That'll come kind of mid-February. But if you're interested in helping with the programs, we definitely need people to type up some stuff. If you know how to sew, let me know. I need to make some bloomers. Dads, I'm thinking about buying some IKEA bunk beds that look somewhat like this. Oh, I don't think, well, my paper can't do it. Oh, shoot. Anyway, cheap IKEA bedding. It's $160 for bunk beds. I'm like, ooh, I can afford that. That's cheap. And we don't even need the cushions because we're in an orphanage. So I might need some dads to kind of like, or moms, because we know we can do that too. Put together some of the bunk beds. It says 2 people need to put these together. If you are a painter and you have come painting skills, let me know. We are going to be starting to make some of our props and things like that. Oh, I got another person coming into the waiting room. So all those things, if you have some kind of special talent, just let me know. You can send me an email. Other volunteer positions. One of the things that I noticed when we were doing Cinderella, which was really great. Cinderella was a great production. Our theater's in Escondido. It's in the new they're trying to revive the downtown district of Escondido into an arts district. And there's a lot of homeless and there's a lot of construction going on. The venue that we are picked, the Ritz, it's newly renovated. It opened in 2020. We were one of the first theater companies to come into their building. And we had a really great experience with them during Cinderella. A lot of my families were like, wow, actually got some good restaurants around. So what I'd like to do is go out into the community and tell them to support us. We'll put up a poster in their building, and we'd love to sell them an ad and put an ad in our program. So if that's something that you're interested in kind of doing more community outreach, it's really important. In Cinderella, we met, Brenda and I went into the quinceañera shop next door, and we ended up buying our quinceañera dress and calling the lady up on stage, and she had a blast. She thought it was just amazing. So we want to support local businesses too. But if you have a local business here in Solana Beach, we'll support you and put you in our program as well. Our venue is not cheap. It's really nice. It's new. I'm a producer's director. I came from the world of being a producer, not a director. I was a writer director on the side. More of my stuff was producing. And what's producing? It's really about organizing things. So making a budget and sticking to it. I had a lot of kids sign up for Annie. So it's like I kind of have these full coffers, and I'll make sure that it goes into this production as best we can. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to the show. It's a lot of just lighting and some stuff like, oh, I'm going to get bunk beds. I'm going to do this kind of stuff. Please also note that my sister runs a charity as well. She runs the CRC in Encinitas. It's great for donating clothes and things like that too. They have received many of our clothes, but I ask parents to donate to me first. I pick through and then I send it to the CRC. The other thing is at the end of our show, I don't need to store 3 bunk beds. I will donate those to the CRC and hopefully to some of their shelters. So just so you know, it's kind of like this full circle that my sister and I have of her thing is helping homeless in Encinitas. Mine is doing children's theater here in Solana Beach. Also, I should also discuss the fact that my mom is the former mayor of Solana Beach. She's also a founding member of the Solana Beach City Council. Her name is Marion Dodson. You will see her at her shows, and she's wonderful. She's 85. So she's getting up there in years, but she truly is in awe of what I've done. And I always say to my mom, I said, yeah, well, when you were 40, you were like running the city. And I can't imagine doing that because it seems very boring to me. So anyway, I just want you to know that's a little bit of my background and my makeup. I guess the biggest questions most people talk about is, well, how much does it cost to actually put on a show? This is a big question. It depends on what our venue is. Sometimes we did Aladdin in a warehouse. Being in a warehouse is actually more expensive because I have to bring everything in. I had to build a stage. I had to put 2 lighting trees up. I had to get chairs, all that stuff. Going to a venue that has everything there, it's actually easier for me and easier for everybody else. But I will tell you, when we were striking our set on Sunday at the end of Cinderella, everyone disappeared. The kids were tired. They were like leaving. And literally it was myself, my 2 tech guys, and my husband loading our truck at the end of the night. And we looked at each other and he's like, this can't happen again. He goes, where are the teenagers? I'm like, well, they have school tomorrow. They can't help us. So that's something I have to budget now. I have to hire 2 guys to kind of like help us because we were tired too. I'm still sick from Cinderella. Just know that all goes in the budget, and we can afford it if that's what you want. But if you want, help us out, stick around. Don't just disappear on me. Scholarships, we do offer scholarships. So if you have friends who are like, oh, we can't afford that or whatnot, this is why I started this foundation, is that we can apply scholarships. Most of my scholarship partner, my one scholarship partner is Casa Amistad in Solana Beach, who we have a partnership with. The only thing we ask when your kids are on scholarship is that you pay for your t-shirt and scripts. The scripts are $15 and the t-shirts are roughly $20. So we ask for a $35 donation. We also have done arts and crafts classes and special offerings. That depends on how much time we have. I know some of the schools have ski week. They also have like a parent teacher conference, like right before our shows. So that might come up as like, hey, we're gonna do some costume fittings. Who's around? Jared's got some time. But that'll all come down as we get closer to our show dates. Our show dates are locked. We will be performing March 24th through April 3rd or April 2nd. I know it butts right up to spring break. But nope, we're done on Saturday. We're not done on Sunday. We're done on Saturday. I'm still working out some times with our venue. They have like a police awards dinner on a Thursday, one of our nights that we have a show. So I said, yeah, it's fine. I can hold the show until 5 o'clock. So just know I'm trying, because it's hard to get to Escondido, and I get that. To hold the show until 5 o'clock is not going to kill us. We're trying to not kill ourselves by doing 3 shows a day on a Saturday. So we're trying to do 2 shows, 2 shows, 2 shows. And we mixed it up where it's like 3 casts get the first week and 3 casts are in the second week. So, but if your kid gets sick, you need to miss, you have something planned, please let me know sooner rather than later so we can make adjustments to the schedule. But that's my drill. If you have questions, you can ask me. Email is always the best. Texting, sometimes it gets lost in the ether. I'm pretty free most mornings. So I work for you guys from 9 to 3, and then I go and I teach from 4 to 6 every day. So that's kind of my schedule. Sometimes I do stuff late at night. You'll see, I might shoot you an email at 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm thinking about stuff. Tech week is crazy, but the week before shows, I go a little nuts. I try and give myself a break and give myself time. I do not work on Fridays and Saturdays unless Brenda has rehearsals. Those are my days off. Thursday is my day to kind of answer emails and do a lot of business stuff. So I do work every day. I never take a break. I'm always kind of working, but I try and take Fridays and Saturdays. So if that's all, that's my drill. I'm open for questions. It was a longer one than I expected, but Brenda went on for 20 minutes. It wasn't me. If you have questions, you can type them in the chat or raise your hand and ask me, but I'm going to turn off my speech so everybody could listen to that one. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I will stay on. Otherwise, thank you all. You guys can leave. You're not necessarily needing to stay on unless you have a question.